The more powerful he got, the kind of more controlling he got and dangerous he got.
Fame, wealth, and the adoration of millions of disciples had allegedly gone to the head of the little Indian yogi in the tiny Speedo.
He thinks he is invincible and he is above the law and nobody can touch him, that he was God.
But karma was about to cut Bikram Choudhury back down to size. Leaving the yoga guru to Hollywood's rich and famous, being branded a kind of Harvey Weinstein mini-me. Accused of sexually preying on women employees of his $80 million empire.
Who went like lambs to the slaughter, not having a clue about what they were getting themselves in for.
He told them that he would make them famous if they, if they slept with him.
Ironically, this Pandora's box of dirty little secrets would be opened by a trainee yoga instructor named Pandora Williams, who sues Bikram for racial discrimination, claiming she was fired after objecting to one of his many alleged homophobic and racist rants.
Said, why are you preaching hate? You should be teaching love. I mean, this is yoga. And he just turned on her and used, foul, offensive, racist language,
What did he say to her? Can you tell us?
Something along the lines of, we don't sell love here, you black, B-I-T-C-H. And he then instructed his assistant to get the black, B-I-T-C-H, out of training.
And Pandora's attorney, Carla Menard, is out to finally expose Bikram.
It really needed a public airing. This kind of abuse and this kind of megalomania run amok.
Bikram hires his own top-flight attorney, Mickey Jaffa-Bodden, to protect his empire.
When that lawsuit hit, Bikram's demeanor and his attitude and his behavior and his language and all of that just erupted.
And Mickey says she soon discovers the yogi's alleged sins extend beyond homophobia and racism to harassment, intimidation, sexual assault, and even rape.
I was actually expecting a number of lawsuits to come down the pipeline, and I had warned Bikram and his other attorneys about them.
But she says the yogi in the Speedo only becomes more cocky.
He stood up on the stage and said, my lawyer is telling me that I can't be alone with women. I can't have girls coming up to my suite at night. You know what? I'm not going to have one girl. I'm going to now have two.
Just as Mickey had predicted, Bikram would be slapped with 5 more lawsuits filed by other women employees, combining to paint a portrait of a power-drunk tyrant allegedly using cult-like tactics of intimidation, sleep deprivation, and mind control to condition his prey.
Do you think that the sleep deprivation and the way he operates is to break them down mentally and emotionally?
He creates his own reality. And part of that is the sleep deprivation and what I call the torture. He refers to it as the Bikram torture chamber.
It allegedly includes yoga trainees being forced to spend endless nights sitting at the master's feet.
There was one who reported falling asleep and having him grope her.
Author Benjamin Laura infiltrated Bikram's House of Horrors for his book Hellbent, paying around $15,000 to pose as a trainee yoga instructor and investigate employees' shocking allegations.
I had women who would tell me they had been raped by him.
And Mickey says Bikram would carefully groom his prey.
He will have favorites and then he will completely brainwash them as well. So it will begin at the Bikram Yoga Studios well before these young girls apply to come and be Bikram yoga teachers.
Mickey claims she's actually witnessed Bikram fooling around with those favorite trainees.
I once walked in to his office and there was a woman massaging his feet and his thighs, now partially obscured by his desk, and he had a towel over his lap, but it was pretty clear to me what was going on.
Another employee would say in a deposition that she witnessed a similar incident when Bikram took a young trainee along on a business trip to New York.
As they were sitting in this limousine, she looked across and saw the young woman's head in Bikram's lap, and he covered her with a ski jacket. And it was very clear from her testimony, and she indicated he was receiving either oral sex or being by this young woman.
The witness testified that Bikram even had the nerve to complain.
When apparently the young woman wasn't servicing him in a way that he appreciated, he said, "What the are you doing? Did God give you one hand or two?"
Mickey says she was constantly dealing with disturbing complaints by trainees.
There is another woman who reports that Bikram's family, his wife and children, on this occasion in his home, went upstairs to sleep, and Bikram then forced her, sexually raped her basically in his living room on the couch.
But Mickey says Bikram did most of his dirty work in a special hotel sugar suite he kept in Beverly Hills.
Just easier for him to force trainees to give him massages, and I dare say force women into unwanted, sex with him. Some evidence came forward regarding a young girl who was seen running from Bikram's suite, crying with her shoes in her hand.
Mickey claims Bikram even made a move on her after summoning her to his sugar suite for a supposed business meeting.
He got under the covers and crawled into bed and motioned for me to come over and to sit with him.
That would turn out to be the biggest mistake Bikram ever made.
That, to me, was extremely unnerving and peculiar. And I had also reached a point in my own personal journey with Bikram where he had pushed too many of my buttons.
Next, the yogi in the Speedo is in danger of losing his shirt when he gets sued by his own attorney.
You had female staff perform oral sex on you at headquarters, right, Mr. Choudhury?
He talks about one drop of his sperm being worth $1 million. I don't need to rape women because there's a line around the block. And she stood up in a room full of trainees and said, maybe I should rape more girls because look, it's good for business.